Hey everybody, we're going to build another algo that we found in TT Community. This one, two people got to contribute this. JP built this. JP is an outside consultant who does some algo construction. He's very active in the forum. But I'm going to build the algo is actually built by Damon. Damon Karras, who is on our support team, JP ADL support team, and he built this beautiful masterpiece down here. And I'm going to go and rebuild that and show you how easy it is to build this little solution. Let's go back and look what the problem was. The question came in, and again, this is a couple years ago, but it has some good examples in it. So I've got an AND block whose logic is usually stable. When it changes the true to false, it causes an order to cancel. What this really boils down to is this person's logic is flickering back and forth from true to false very rapidly, and they don't want to do that. They want to put a delay in there. So I'm going to show you how to put a delay in there. I showed you how to use a timer to put in a delay on another order the other day. This is another similar case to that, but a little bit more elaborate. So let's get into that now. So how are we going to build this delay in? This is the logic that we came up with, and we're going to now build that out into an algo. So let's switch over to ADL. And start building this little algo for you. Back in ADL, let's see what we have here. We have, excuse me, starts off with a man block. Okay. Now this algo is kind of contract agnostic. There's not a contract really added to it. You don't necessarily need that for this. Is just logic that would be part of a bigger algo. So now what I'm going to need, I want a not block. What's the not block doing? The not block is doing exactly that. It's going to flip whatever's in this and. So if and is at true, the not block is going to switch that to false. You'll understand why we do that a little bit here, but connect on to a generator block. What's the generator block do? The generator block is going to do a Boolean switch, basically. I'm going to set this up for a Boolean switch. What does a Boolean switch mean? A Boolean change. So every time this change, actually, do I want that? No, actually, I don't want Boolean change. I want this at Boolean true. So whenever this goes to true, it's going to trigger something to start. Boolean switch would be anytime it triggers from true to false, it's going to pulse out a message. Now it's going to pulse out a message when it flips to true, because I have this at Boolean start. Now I'm going to get into a value accumulator block, and we'll see what we do with that. That is how I find that value. Oh, I don't want a value bucket. I want a value accumulator block, so I'm going to grab this block right here, double click it, and it brings me over here, and I'm going to run my generator into here. That's my generator. Now I want a little time lag in here. I'm going to put a 5-second time lag in. So how do I do that? I'm going to get a stopwatch block. Stopwatch block is keyed to milliseconds. So I'm going to put this at 5,000. Obviously, you can do it much longer. You can do whatever you want, but I'm only going to put a 5-second delay in for this certain case. So 5 second. After 5 second, I want to refresh this, basically restart it, because I'm going to put into the value accumulator block a simple number 1. So every time value accumulator block, excuse me, is set to 1, it's going to say, hey, we've got to stay, we've got to do something. But I want to reset that every 5 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to put in a number block that says 0 for part of this logic, because part of this logic is going to be an equal block. Equal. So now when the value accumulator block equals 0, that means we can time out. So we can time out and basically pause and stop. Okay, so I'm going to call this the time out. Okay. Now I'm going to go down to, and I'm going to add a little more logic to the bottom of this. What's that logic going to be? Pull it up. All right, now I'm going to want a few civil Boolean blocks. The Boolean blocks I'm going to use for a couple of things. I'm going to get 2 of these out. Boolean 1, Boolean 2. This Boolean block is just going to be the trigger condition. So why do I want to pause or hold off and wait 5 seconds to switch this? Let's say it's a fast market or something like that. Or let's say the market got very volatile and you have some sort of market volatility indicator you want to use. Whatever you want to use, it doesn't really matter. Now I'm just going to set that at true the whole time. So this is going to be a timer condition. And this is just going to be a Boolean to repeat the information. Put repeat. I'll show you what that's plugged into. That's going to plug into another generator block. This generator block, though, is going to be set to time interval. And my time interval, and the time interval is going to be based off of the information that I gave before a little bit, but it's going to repeat based off of every second. I want to check this every second to see if the conditions are good. Oops, so that actually shouldn't be 100, it should be 0. Once we have this all complete, we'll walk through and explain it in more detail. We're going to check this every second. And repeat, with the repeat block, it just tells this logic to repeat every time it needs to. And the timer condition, like I said, that could be a market state, market's in a fast market, any type of logic you want to put in there. If the volatility has picked up a great deal, whatever you want to do, if we're at limit up or perhaps something like that, you want to turn it off. There's various things you can chime into there, but for now we're just going to set this Boolean block to basically leave it on all the time. I'm going to plug this information into a sequence block. The sequence blocks are very important. I'm going to get into those in a few other algos pretty soon, but the sequence block is delineating what part of your algo downstream gets information first. Now, a lot of times you have a piece of information that comes across and you want to disperse that to different logic components within your algo, but it's important that one part of your algo gets the information before another part of the algo does, because perhaps it's got to do a calculation or something like that, and you need this calculation before the next part of the logic can do what it needs to do. So use a sequence block. Sequence block is going to say that this block gets information before this other block. Now, the blocks I'm going to involve right now are going to be another stopwatch. Stopwatch right here. And I'm going to set this one to update every half a second, so 500 milliseconds. And this is going to reset another value accumulator block. That block. Which is also going to be set to 1. Just this one, this one. And another equal block. Equal. Let's type equal. Equal. Whoops. Bring this down into here. Now I want this to reset when it goes back to 0. All right, so this is going to refresh. This is going to reset every half a second. This value accumulator, that value accumulator is set to 1, but it's going to reset every half a second. So it gives me every half a second. I'm going to check to make sure my my conditions meet what I need to turn this timer off to basically reset and not count or not check whether I should flip my buy sell rule off and on. I'll do that. What I do now are some flags here. So this is going to be called my timer trigger condition. And I'm going to get a jump block out of there. Well, we do that jump block. I need to run this jump block back over to the beginning of this whole flow of information. So if my trigger timer condition is set and my timeout OK is set, so here. Now I've got what I need. Now essentially, let's go through this whole thing again. So I've got my timer trigger condition, which is this guy, to make sure that the market state is valid. This is the market state. This is whatever I'm using to basically verify that, okay, well, I should not switch my signal every time it changes. I'm going to put a drag and I'm going to put a delay on that. And again, this could be, I'm just set Boolean to on right now, but that could be something like, it could be a market state, you know, if you're in a fast market, if you're in pre-market, or if volatility is picked up, if, you know, there's huge bid or a huge offer in the market, whatever you want to use. If you're above a moving average, whatever you want to use, you can use that for the timer condition. Now we're checking to see the timer condition is okay. We're going to check that every second based off of this. And then when it is okay, it's going to pump this up to number 1. It's going to say, yeah, that's okay, which is fine, but that's going to reset every half a second. Okay, so the timer condition is okay. So basically this is okay, and we're going to check this rule every half a second. If that condition is okay, then we're going to send this information back to the beginning of the whole algo. Then we also have to make sure that the second condition, which is the timeout okay. What's the timeout okay? The timeout okay is based off of, you have to have these two rules both set good, and then it's going to go to the generator block, and it's going to set a condition for 5 seconds to actually wait to do that condition. It's not going to flip it's not going to turn off the buy sell rules. It's not going to turn off whatever the rule happens to be for 5 seconds now. Okay, well, that may sound a little confusing, but there's a little more detail to it based into the article. I'm going to put the article at the bottom as well too. The article is in community, and you'll understand it more clearly then. Okay, let's make sure this guy runs. Click this. See, yeah, the logic runs through just fine. So it's running. See the little balls? The little balls are kind of nice. That tells you when you're testing where the logic actually is in the algo. So you can see a message just pass through here. It's going to pass through every 5 seconds. It's going to pump through here. It's going to increase this to 1. Then it's going to reset every 5 seconds. So it's at 1, 1, 2, no, 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, reset. See, every 5 seconds it'll reset now. I hope this makes sense. And again, I'm going to link the article into it in the bottom of this whole presentation. You'll see what's going on a little more clearly. This is how you build it. There's pictures of it set up in community, and then you can just kind of go from there. All right. We're going to call this. We're going to call this algo. We're going to call this algo. What's inhibiting rapidly changing. That's the actual article is called. So we're going to call this save as inhibit rapid change of logic. Okay, so now when your conditions are met, we're only going to update our logic for 5 seconds. That's what the rules are doing. That's what it's doing. The articles are being here. Check it out. And with that, I'm going to close this out and show you something else later.